meet you, that would be great. Thank you. Council, staying with some recent tradition, we'd like to start off the report in your packet by recognizing some work anniversaries of our employees. And we will accompany this with a PowerPoint so that we can get through it, not just efficiently, but also that you have an opportunity to see the faces and read the names. And if we have the opportunity at the end to hear from one or two of the individuals who are celebrating significant anniversaries, by the way, this goes back to December. We're getting caught up here after the holidays and some travel and so forth. We will do that. So if I can get rolling on this. Next slide. Thank you. We did celebrate some 5-year anniversaries in December. Emily Markle, she's our procurement specialist. Emily, happy anniversary, belated. Craig Smith, our facilities maintenance supervisor, who has just retired, but nevertheless, we want to recognize his 5-year anniversary. Next slide, please. Then we have Carlton Johns, recreation assistant, and Richard Hernandez, also a recreation assistant, celebrated their 5-year anniversaries. Vicki Baker is an executive assistant 1 and celebrated her 20th year anniversary with the city. And then we have, and happy anniversary, Vicki, we have a number of significant anniversaries, which we characterize as being 25 years or greater. The first goes to Richie Hearn, who's not able to join us today, but Richie knows that we're recognizing him. Richie celebrated his 36th year anniversary in December, which is pretty remarkable. He's served in various roles in the Public Works Division, working with the street section. He's worked out at the cemetery, has great institutional knowledge, quite dedicated to the mission of delivering core services, which he has done aptly. And he's a great example of what you hope for in a team. That's a quote coming from Sam Beckett. I'll continue with that quote. His passion and support for his staff and all who work with him was the first thing I noticed. Richie is truly the glue that holds the street section together. Sam, thank you for that quote. Richie, it's an honor to have you, and I hope you're able to see this recognition a little bit later on when it's convenient for you. Next slide. Pardon me, John Schrade works also with the facilities maintenance, and he came to work for the city in 1986. So some very quick math here. I think his anniversary is quite significant. If I add this up right, 10, 20, 30, 35 years, give or take. I hope I'm right on that. John is a Vietnam vet. Thank you for your service to our country, John. He has provided services in all aspects of maintenance, especially in construction, carpentry, cabinetry, and locksmithing. I took humor in noting that when needed, John even hops into our street plows and helps out the street crew, as he is a commercial driver's license holder. So a real friend to all in the service of the city. Happy anniversary belated to you, John. Thank you. Joe Almendarez celebrated his 26th anniversary with Team Flagstaff, hired in 1995. And Joe quickly became an asset to Water Services, where he spends his time obtaining all the necessary certifications to serve the city's needs. He was promoted to wastewater collection supervisor in 2019, and then added to the role of stormwater collection supervisor in 2020. He does all things water, oversees 10 employees in those collection systems, operates the big combo and vac trucks. So he operates some pretty big equipment that we've seen around the city, as well as equipment in the water services operations, everything from dump trucks to cranes to mini dozers. When he's not operating heavy equipment, He enjoys riding his Harley Davidson, playing with his two dogs, riding quads in the woods and in the dunes, and spending time with his family and friends. What a wonderful narrative here. We greatly appreciate the work that Joe has done for the city, 26-year anniversary. And last but not least, we have Mike Abeda, who is currently a recreation supervisor. Mike, I hope I got your last name correct. I think Mike's going to join us here on the video. Go ahead and turn your camera on if you're able to, Mike, and we're going to acknowledge you, and you're quite you're invited to respond in any way you would like. But in the interim, we're going to go ahead and talk about you a little bit, and I hope you're okay with that. You have served the city well for 33 years. Congratulations on that anniversary. Starting out with the aquatics program, back when the pools apparently were resided within our school buildings, so way before the aquatic center. Has managed the J. Lively Activity Center for a long, long time, and I think operates the Zamboni. Mike is an incredible asset to the city, a Flagstaff team, and his years of experience, mechanical know-how, thoughtful approach, and incredible sense of humor, Mike, are hard to beat. Many congratulations to you, sir, and we'd love to hear any comments that you'd like to share since we've been talking about you.
Awesome. You said my name fairly accurately. It's Mike Abeda.
Okay.
Thank you for the wonderful opportunity. So grateful to work with so many wonderful city employees over the years. Richie and, people from all over. City clerk, we've spent a lot of time together, and contracts and everybody else. So, great team, and it's been a pleasure working all these years, continuing on. So thank you.
Thank you, Mike. It's been our pleasure and a real honor. So thanks for spending time with us this afternoon, and thanks for letting us spend a little time talking about you. And congratulations once again to you. I believe that concludes our work anniversaries. Council, we will get back on track with January's anniversaries in a couple of weeks, and then we'll continue to do these on a monthly basis. If I can go back to my manager's report, then I wanted to touch on a few other things.
City Manager,
Yeah.
Real quick, I just want
Please.
to thank all of our employees. I mean, so many 25-year anniversaries plus. That's just, thank you so much for your service. And I'd like to have all of our council members, if you'd like to unmute and video, just to give some applause. I mean, not being in city council chambers, it's difficult to show our appreciation sometimes. So I would just like to take a second here and really applaud our city staff. Thank you.
Way to go!
Woo!
Yay, Team Flagstaff!
Thank you, Mayor.
Hearts, grateful hearts.
Thank you, Council. That was lovely. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And
nice touch.
Without further ado, City Manager, please take it away.
Indeed. Back to the report and back to the subject of employees. I want to give you some updates and a quick story. I do have a couple of things for council to weigh in on, and then at the end of this report, we would love to hear from Dan Folk, who has submitted his end of the year report for community development. We also have the monthly report from Economic Vitality, so Heidi Hansen or somebody on her team can speak to that, but we'll do that at the end. I just wanted to get you guys ready. Back to the report, fire department, there's some stats in the report, quick stats, nothing that's going to occupy a lot of volume here, just a couple of paragraphs. But interesting to note that calendar year 2020 brought us 15,712 calls to our fire department. This last year, 2021, resulted in 15,585. Very close. I found that to be rather remarkable. The some updates with fire, including a nice photo from the event involving the Christmas gifts, And many props to the officers who were involved in that wonderful event. Of course, this was before the holidays, and I know it's after the fact now, but nevertheless, wanted to acknowledge the great thoughtfulness that went behind that. Thank you. Human resource updates. I wanted to talk a little bit about, you're going to continue to hear this narrative about our vacant positions, and I don't mean to belabor the point, but it remains a significant issue or challenge for the city organization. As of the end of 2021, from HR, Human Resources, they report 75 vacant positions in our organization. And you'll hear a little bit more. Well, I'll just segue right into it. With police, our police department, our staffing needs, we have about 70 sworn officers when we are fully staffed, I believe. Currently, 17 of those positions are vacant. We have about 8 in the academy. So there's some help on the way, but nevertheless, and 3 are in field training. But it means that out of those 70, about 28 are either vacant or in some form of training, and that constitutes a 40% vacancy rate, which has been the story of quite some time now. Dispatch now has 5 vacancies and 8 employees in training. 13 of the 30 police emergency communication specialists and supervisor positions are vacant or in training. That's about a 43% vacancy rate. So we'll continue to update you on that, Council, and stay tuned. I'd like to touch on what I found to be a rather remarkable story. This one has a little bit of some shock factor to it, I guess, but a good outcome. So I'm going to go ahead and speak to it. On January 12th, in conjunction with the United States Marshals Service, our police department worked in tandem to apprehend an individual who was suspected in a rather brutal double homicide in the state of Georgia, and was believed to be on the train to Flagstaff and, at the Greyhound bus station. I should get my facts right. On the bus to Flagstaff. Deported the bus and was apprehended by 2 officers in plain clothes. Officer Pat Condon and Sergeant Clint Hill were assigned to this task and pulled it off with success. And the suspect was apprehended and arrested. This was no easy feat. The suspect, of course, was believed to be involved in a very heinous crime, and was also believed to be in possession of firearms, and he was. He had a firearm on his body and 2 more in his day pack. So a very high-risk operation that was successful, and one that resulted in taking a rather dangerous suspected criminal off the streets of Flagstaff. So wanted to share that with you and offer up the well-deserved accolades to Officer Pat Condon and Sergeant Clint Hill. Well done, officers. There's also an update about a Community Champion Award presented to Mr. Skylar Penny for his assistance in bringing about the conclusion and arrest of some suspected thefts. I won't get into any more detail other than to say thank you, Mr. Penny, for your diligence and vigilance. Some updates from our pros division, including some foots trails updates, always of high interest, and a little update on our community composting operation, and some statistics regarding visitors at Pitcher Canyon, McMillan Mesa, and Observatory Mesa. Apparently for the last year, the fiscal year 21-22, over 99,000 visitors at these facilities. So our trails and open spaces are getting well used. A lot of love for the open spaces in Flagstaff. You have other statistics in there, and I will not go into those in detail. I would invite you to read those at your leisure if you've not done so already. And scrolling on to Public Works, some updates from our streets folks regarding winter operations and things ongoing. We are seeing excavation at the Killip School, the new school facility, regarding the stormwater improvement project, which is being done in partnership with the school district and the city. That's great news. Solid Waste is working on interviews and hiring to cover their vacancies with their equipment operators, 9 equipment operator vacancies with Solid Waste. So the story continues. It crosses the spectrum of the organization. Stay tuned on all of that. Council, I'd like for you to weigh in quickly on this one. We have a request for use of the council chambers by the Arizona State Transportation Board. We would love to honor this request, but in lieu of the fact that we are in a virtual realm right now, we wanted to check in with you. The request is to use the council chambers for the February 18th meeting right around the corner. It's a morning meeting. They anticipate about 12 to 15 in-person attendees along with virtual attendees. There's a little more detail in there, but that request is coming for you, and we were not comfortable rendering a decision at the staff level. So if you'd like to weigh in real fast, we'll run with the direction you give us.
Thank you, City Manager. Councilmember McCarthy?
Well, thank you, Mayor. As you know, I'm the chair of the Metro Plan, and I can tell you, and I'm sure everyone here already knows this, our relationship with the Transportation Board is extremely important. They basically decide where money goes, and you know which project
Councilmember McCarthy, I don't know about Councilmember McCarthy. Sorry.
So I would strongly choose. They're going to be somewhere in the city anyway.
Councilmember McCarthy.
What's going on?
My apologies, but you're breaking up pretty heavy on my end. Maybe
My end as well, Mayor.
Okay. Thank you. If you could turn your camera off and repeat, I'd appreciate it so we can hear your full comment.
All right, I'll start over and tell me if it's breaking up. I'm the chair of the Metro Plan, representing the city, of course, and our relationship to the State Transportation Board is very, very important. So I suggest that we should allow them to use our chambers. If we do not allow them to use it, they're going to meet in person somewhere in town here anyway. They've made that decision. So I support them being able to use our council chambers. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember McCarthy. Vice Mayor?
That broke up, Les.
Yep, we're good. We heard you loud and clear there, so appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. My question really is just how much staff time and presence would it take for them to meet in council chambers?
Thank you. I don't believe it will take a lot of staff time. I think this question is more of whether council has a comfort in having your chambers used with some in-person meetings at a time when you're having virtual meetings. But I do not believe there will be a lot of staff involvement. Stacy Salzberg, please correct me if I misstated that.
Thank you, Mr. Clifton. Yeah, we can look into that. I don't think it would be a significant amount of staff time.
I mean, my only concern would be additional exposure to of our staff, and if there's not any and it's staff that would already be there, I would be okay with it, I think.
Thank you for your thoughtfulness. My hunch is that we're talking about just opening the doors and turning on the lights and that sort of thing. So I maybe activating some of the equipment, but I don't think that there will be a heavy staff presence by any means. But again, others can correct me on that. Thank you, Vice Mayor, for that.
Yes, thank you. Councilmember Salas?
Yes, Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And I anticipate that um, our protocols with COVID medication will be communicated to the members of the transportation board and ADOT staff managing the meeting. Um, having having said that, I believe it is crucial that we welcome uh, and appreciate the 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 transportation board um, even considering to hold their meeting in Flagstaff, and it's very integral into re- building and cultivating relationships with our transportation board as well as ADOT leadership. And I say that on behalf of my role with Metro Plan Board as well as the statewide Rural Transportation Advocacy Council. Thank you.
Thank you, council member.
Thank you, Councilmember Salas. Councilmember Shimoni?
Thank you, Mayor. And my internet is a little choppy, so I'm going to keep my camera off. City Manager, thank you for bringing this before us. I like a lot of colleagues who have spoken, also feel very excited that the Transportation Board is planning to meet in Flagstaff and that they have reached out about using our chambers. I personally feel comfortable with that, Mayor and Council. I think that given the numbers, although very high today, my understanding is that it's going to be a sharp drop off. And so I'm already thinking that we're on the other side of this, but we can talk about that with our next agenda item on COVID. But personally, I feel comfortable with this smaller group meeting in our chambers, and I'm really excited about it. And I'm wondering what we can do to really make them feel welcome. Maybe, have some, I don't know, obviously while keeping COVID parameters and safety in mind, but really treating them like the guests that they are, and that that this relationship is really important to us, and that we're grateful that they're spending time in Flagstaff. So yeah, that's my comment. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Sweet.
With the proper mitigation, I am perfectly good with them using our council chambers. And Councilmember Shimoni, I think you're right. Let's welcome them in. I think it's a big deal that they're here in Flagstaff, and I'm a yes for sure. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Sweet. Councilmember Allison.
Yeah, just for the record, I'm fine with it.
Thank you. Well, I'll chime in. I'm okay with it, but let me be very, very clear with council that we need clear, same level playing field for Transportation Commission coming in as opposed to our residents coming into council chambers to be able to speak. If we are going to allow this, which I'm okay with, we're starting to see the numbers come down, then that following week, we need to be able to go back to a hybrid model because I don't feel comfortable giving special treatment to one entity while not giving that same level of treatment to our own residents to be able to attend city council meetings in person. So that's where I stand. I'm okay with it, but let's be logically consistent here. So with that, Councilmember McCarthy.
Mayor, your comments make sense. My question was, what will be the date of that meeting?
Oh, I have it in my report. Thank you, council member. It is, bear with me, please, February 18th.
Thank you, Greg, and thank you, Sarah.
I think I was faster than Sarah, but we can give her credit.
Okay.
Well, we can bring that up later on, but then if with the February 18th date, then I would say that we need to be able to go back to a hybrid model for the Tuesday, February 22nd meeting. So that's the caveat for me being in support of this, which I am. But let's again just be logically consistent. Councilmember Shimoni?
Yeah, just a quick follow-up, and we can dive into this maybe on the next agenda item when we talk about COVID. Maybe I should save my comments for that. Let's just maybe have that discussion then. But yeah, I think there's direction for this meeting. Thank you.
Yep, thank you. We'll pick that up with the COVID update, and I think you have your direction regarding the other meeting. So
Thank you, Mayor. I do. Thank you so much. And thank you to the entire council for weighing in on that. Councilmember Shimoni, the next item could be of interest to you, just a hunch. But we do have a couple of video links in the manager's report, courtesy of Sarah Langley and Samantha, who goes by Sam, and a couple of videos, and we are on our way to more videos. We will continue to provide links to them for your watching enjoyment. And Vice Mayor notes that she was not able to access the videos. We'll do our best. All I can do is provide the links, Vice Mayor. But beyond that, my technology comes to a standstill. An update is in the report on the Citizen Bond Committee. We will be meeting again this week. We've been meeting weekly. Mad props to Shannon Anderson for helping with this. Our consultants have been helping. We have a lot of people actually helping on this. A lot of staff have been attending and presenting, as you can see from the timeline that is in my report. We are in the middle of a lot of presentations now, and we will segue into the next one, stormwater infrastructure, and then 2 sessions involving housing, 2 sessions involving climate action. And then we will be reaching out to the community with a survey, a limited survey, and stay tuned on all of this. You'll continue to get updates and snippets as to how this very important endeavor is going. Also attached to my report are a couple of letters of support. CJ Perry has been engaged in trying to help with some projects that involve the placement of fiber broadband infrastructure. I know that's of high interest to you, Mayor, and to the council. We're doing, and we'll be talking a lot about that, or more about that, during the upcoming council budget retreat on Thursday and Friday of this week. By the way, we're having a budget retreat on Thursday and Friday of this week. Just a reminder, all day Thursday and likely half a day Friday. It will be facilitated. It will be entirely virtual. Looking forward to that. Staff has been getting prepped for that. I think that concludes my report, but I would like to welcome either Dan Folk or Heidi Hansen, whoever wants to kick off their summaries and just give a quick high-level thumbnail of what the summaries include for council and for the community. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council members. Heidi Hansen, Economic Vitality Director. I am going to turn off my camera, but I wanted to kind of rapid fire go through some of the report. What makes this report special is it not only shared what we did in December, but it kind of, we went back and showed year-end highlights of the division. And some things to note is the airport reached employments of 108,000, which is just 15,000 employments shy of our record year of 2019. So we are on great track to continue to raise employments at the airport. As you know, the second parking lot was started, and we did a ribbon cutting with many of you out there. Thank you. Mayor spoke, and so did Greg. And basically, we will be in full swing in that parking lot, hopefully in spring. We also started all of our CARES Act projects, which are several. As you know, we have received a lot of grant funding with the help of the federal and state, and of course, always the help of our contracts and manager, Stacy Breckler-Nag. She's amazing. And then we got to try out our snow equipment that we've been receiving from FAA this year. We also had tons of airport rescue firefighting training at the airport, which also included our fire team. And then last but not least, with the airport, we marketed, and we marketed. So that's some exciting things. You'll not only see things in our local media, but you will also see a new installation at the NAU Sky Dome if you're there. And then with Park Flag, we actually did over 931 hours that people had parked there with over 428,000 transactions. We also changed all of our signage so that it would be easier for people to understand. We also resumed parking after the pandemic in March, and we installed curbside locations, and those are still working to this day. And then something that you'll be seeing very soon is the 2 new parking lots that we've been able to establish more parking for downtown. And then, of course, we always do an annual parking report if you're interested. For Beautification, Arts and Sciences, they are a mighty team of 2, and they actually did a new alley art piece. They did some work at Buffalo Park. They did walking tours. And then, of course, you were out there joining us at the courthouse art piece that we were very excited about. We did a flower project in historic downtown. And we also did traffic signal cabinets. And I think that you're seeing more and more of those going up. And we are using local artists for that. So it's very exciting. We also did climate change and hope on some bus artwork. And then the list goes on. Economic development, one of the biggest things was Whitehall Industries coming to Flagstaff with over 150 jobs. We're super proud of that. We actually won an award for that best deal with Econa. We also have Catalyst Space Technologies that joined us, and we also have some success with our incentive programs that all of you helped us to adopt. Our adaptive reuse incentive had 3 recipients. Our business retention expansion incentive had 2 recipients. Our job creation incentive had 2 recipients. And our sustainable automotive rebate had 17 successful recipients. So we're very excited about that. And last but not least, our Innovate Waste Challenge that we do with sustainability had 2 recipients. So you can see that these incentives are being heard about and they are actually being used. Our library was chosen as the best public servant agency, for the 7th year in a row. They also did new catalog videos. They actually seamlessly moved us into a new ILS system, and they also did some fun drive-through events that showed us that these things can happen. And of course, curbside was active more than ever. There's lots more recaps on counts and things like that of how many people were in the facility, how many people did curbside. Please look at the report. And then tourism, last but not least, 2 governor awards for tourism. One was for best tourism partnership with Pledge for the Wild. And then we also won something with Canyon Diablo Distillery. So I just want to let you know, again, our work is sustainable, it's eco-friendly, and it's winning awards. Our tourism metrics were outstanding. Talk about a rebound. We did it. We had an occupancy average of 73.3%. In an industry, anything over 60% is valued. And then our average daily rate and our revenue per available rooms were insane. Please look at those. Visitor Center served over 98,000 visitors, and our retail sales almost topped $300,000. We also held a mini coffee clutch, 11 meetings with our stakeholders. We were full swing with international travel and trade. Our meetings and events and conferences were huge. We actually we had 21 leads. We had 5,544 room nights, and it was an estimated impact of over 1.3 million. So talk about a rebound there. Marketing media relations, over 4,444 print and digital articles were procured through this group. We had broadcast programs. We had a publicity value that was huge. We actually increased our publicity value by 25% this year. And we did sweepstakes, we did email campaigns. We continue to keep Flagstaff Local, My Actions Matter campaign alive. Our social media stats were through the roof. And then last but not least, creative services. If you saw the ads, that is not even touching the surface of the work that they've done, not only for our visitation, but for the city of Flagstaff in general. So very, very proud of this team. Really helpful to have a council that supports us. And thank you, Greg, for allowing me to go through that in rapid speed. Appreciate it.
That was rapid speed. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Director Hansen and the whole team. Just amazing, amazing results we've seen last year, and especially in a year we were having some expectations that would not be as successful as what we've seen, and that really is a lot to do with the good team that we have in economic vitality. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Mayor. And I think staying with the theme of how a lot of business in our organization continues to thrive, actually, even during the pandemic. Now we can segue to that of community development and hear, I'm sure, about building permits along with other things. Dan, it's going to be hard to talk as fast as Heidi, but feel free to try that if you like.
Yes, thank you, Greg. And thank you, Heidi. Been some exciting things we've talked about already tonight, so I won't try to top them, but I'll just tell you what's going on in community development. I really appreciate this opportunity to highlight a few things that are in the end of year report that we prepared this year. Community development is comprised of the housing section, the planning and development services section, the building safety and code compliance program, and the real estate program. We currently have 55 full-time employees, and we're getting very close to being back to full staffing. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and just highlight a few things that are in the annual report that's attached to Greg's manager's report. Can you all see the screen?
Yep, looking good.
And so the first thing I want to do is recognize what I call the community development leadership team. So these are our section directors and our program managers. And it's really this group that is responsible for everything that's getting done, and all of the staff, of course, all of the 55 folks who work in community development. So I'm very grateful to the continued support and work of our leadership team. One of our accomplishments this year was to refresh our mission and vision. I think we identified the old community development mission went back to like 2006. And of course, we've had almost complete turnover of our staff since that time. And so back in November, we did a facilitated morning. Here you see our new mission, which is to build community together, provide service with integrity, and honor the diverse heritage of Flagstaff. We've got our values identified in the middle of the document, and then how we implement our mission every day is through our vision to champion a vibrant, equitable, sustainable, and safe community for today and future generations. And I'm really proud. We had 41 of 49 folks invited participate in the creation of this. So 41 of our team members, I believe that we all support it, and we can now endorse it because it's our own mission and vision. So really proud of that work. Just a few highlights from the year-end report. We're very close to bringing you the housing plan. You've seen the draft 10-year housing plan. The Housing Commission approved the housing plan last Thursday. This is going to be in front of City Council on February 15th. You can see here in our document, I don't have links to videos, but I do have links to websites. And we've got a link here to the 10-year housing plan. We're really excited to present that to you. We touch on a number of programs here. I'm just going to talk about a couple of them. One is the Home Buyer Assistance Program. We were able to assist 8 home buyers last calendar year, with down payment and closing costs. And I want to go next to our housing authority. We have an extremely well-run housing authority. This is, of course, a federally funded program. We have 265 units that the city of Flagstaff, or the housing authority, owns and operates and maintains. We also have over 500 vouchers, and these are vouchers that are available to income qualifying households. They pay 30% of their income, no matter what it is. The balance is covered by the voucher. We continue to get vouchers from Housing and Urban Development, HUD. The reason we get these vouchers is because what a well-run housing authority we have. It's a real credit to Sarah Dar and her management team at the Housing Authority that they continue to come back to us with these specialized vouchers for really disadvantaged populations, not just low income, but veterans, victims of abuse, and some of those other populations. So just so proud of all the work our Housing Authority does. And when you add that together, it's 776 households that the City of Flagstaff is directly involved in providing housing for, and that number continues to grow. Next, I want to go down to our current planning program. This is led by our current planning manager, Alexandra Pucciarelli. This team is the SPOC, or the single point of contact, for development review on all concept and site plans in the City of Flagstaff. So all new commercial, industrial, multifamily projects need to go through a concept and site plan process before they pull building permits. You can see we do a lot of pre-application meetings. And while we thought last year was very busy, 2021 was even busier. And you can see really we're on this upward trend. I really want to recognize all the staff in current planning, Alexandra, Tiffany, Genevieve, Patrick, and our newest member, Wesley Welch, who just started last week. We're very close to being back to full staffing. This team has worked extremely hard as the single point of contact to get these projects, keep them on schedule, and really help with the economic growth of Flagstaff. We have a link here to the current planning website. Last year, we launched the Citizen Access Portal. Becky Cardiff is our Development Services Manager. This is an online portal where you can submit all of your development permits, make payments through the portal. So it's been an amazing success, especially during the last couple of years. Next is our comprehensive planning program. We have a link here to our comprehensive planning page. Sarah Dechter is our comprehensive planning manager. The big kickoff for Sarah and her team is the regional plan update. The current plan was adopted in 2014, ratified by the voters in 2014 as well. So we have 10 years to update it. So this past year, we've been focused on data collection and a series of seminars, online seminars on specific topics. They're webinars, I guess, since they're on the web. And then this year for the regional plan, we really start our kind of community involvement. So we'll convene a public stakeholder group during this next calendar year. And that's kind of the next big task. And so the regional plan will proceed. We'll be providing you an updated regional plan in 2024. And so we've still got 2 years to work on that. We've got a link here to the regional plan update. And then another big component of our comprehensive planning program is public participation. As many of you know, Sarah is trained as a public participation professional. We've sent Mark Rivas through this similar training. And so we provide a lot of resources to other programs and divisions within the City of Flagstaff, helping them with some of their public participation and outreach. So we're really happy to be supporting the entire organization in that way. Next, I want to talk about our building safety and code compliance program. We've got a lot of numbers here. The big number that jumps out at me is during this last calendar year, we had over 291 million in construction valuation. That was up from 2020 by 57 million, or 25%. And so that speaks to the volume of the projects, the complexity of the projects. It probably does reflect some of the increasing costs in materials as well. But again, an amazingly productive year, even during these days of COVID. This is a monthly report. Because it's December, it shows you year to date. And so here you can compare the 2020 numbers over on the right to the 2021 numbers. You can compare December and then year to date. These two columns would be for the whole year. And we have a breakdown of some of these projects in different categories. So please take a look at that. And then code compliance is also part of our building safety team. I should mention Amy Palmer is our building official. Reggie Eccleston is our code compliance manager. Really pleased with all the work they've been able to provide to the community in the last year. Over 1,800 cases. The vast majority of those are initiated by staff. One of the things that's kind of a misunderstanding or a myth is that code compliance is completely complaint driven. That's really not true. We initiate the majority of these cases. Over 1,500 of those 1,800 were staff initiated. That means we identified the issue. Sometimes it does come from a citizen complaint. If we go to a home to inspect an issue, we'll look at the whole neighborhood so that we're not just focusing on one property. But some of the big things we've been able to succeed are with graffiti abatement, over 700 cases of graffiti, keeping sidewalks clear, not only from the snow, but we spend a lot of time in the summer and fall dealing with vegetation on sidewalk. So keeping our sidewalks accessible to all is really important. And then another one that we all love very dearly is our Dark Sky program. We've been very successful with this shared position. As you know, the IGA was renewed this past year. The Dark Sky Specialist is co-funded between the city and Coconino County. In the last year, we believe we have removed close to 2 million lumens just in the last calendar year. Since we've had the shared position, we believe more than 3 million lumens have been removed. And this is really key to keeping not only our dark sky heritage, but keeping our dark sky economy here in Flagstaff. So the observatories, both the Flagstaff Station Naval Observatory and the Lowell Observatory. We're ready to bring you a round of code amendments on our lighting standards. This was an outcome of a pollution study that was done by the observatories probably 5 years ago. It led to the joint land use study, which is where we came up with the shared position. And then they recommended a number of amendments to our lighting code. And so our team has been working with the local professionals for over a year. I think we're very close to bringing that to you. And I think later this calendar year, you're going to see those amendments. And then finally, I just want to mention the real estate program. Bryce Doty is our real estate manager. Not only do they work on leases and our existing facilities, the real estate that the city of Flagstaff owns, but Bryce also works very closely with the capital team on all those capital projects and getting the property rights. So he's very involved with the Rio de Flag flood control project, the Lone Tree Overpass, the Schweitzer water main going up to the north to the tank, and then some of our leases as well. So Bryce has had a really busy, productive year. And with that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And again, I really appreciate the time, and I'm very grateful to all of our team members in community development. And we look forward to another productive year.
Thank you, Dan. That's just such great information on how we are serving the public and how we are seeing the outcomes of all the effort of our city staff. So I really appreciate the time you are taking to being able to inform us and the public about that, because this is crucial information to show how much inform us and the public about that, because this is crucial information to show how much we are providing results as a city government. So thank you so much. And city manager.
But thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Dan, for a very nice summary of a very good report. It is a good read. I would invite anybody to give it a review at your leisure. And same comment with the Economic Vitality Report. Thank you, Heidi, for that update. That concludes my report, Mayor and Council. Unless anybody has any questions, I'll let you get on with other business.
Thank you, City Manager. Always really appreciate these reports. It's really great for all of us. Not seeing any C's or Q's